get pussy squirting away. It's like sex, you feel it right away. Yeah, and I know what I learned is seen a man die when it's set fire, shit, turn away.
Bitches get in, I wanna wait. Look up in my eyes, look up in my face. I just got the pain, yeah, it's your rain. Just wanna flirt outside the race. Why they throwing shade?
I've been there, brother. Anyway, let's watch this. And we'll call it a night. Merry Christmas, everybody. If you watch this, please like and subscribe, share. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's go.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story the movie didn't dare to show. To understand who the real Tony Montana was.
By the way, credit goes to the Mob Archives. This video is for educational purposes only. It's an exceptionally essence reactions. Let's go.
We first have to understand where he lived. Forget the Chicago of Al Capone. This is about Miami in 1979. The city was drowning in cocaine. And the epicenter of that madness was a place called the Mutiny Hotel. If you watch the movie, you see Tony partying at the Babylon Club.
This way he was dancing like
life,
this.
That was the Mutiny. This was the only place on Earth where federal judges, hitmen, movie stars, and CIA agents sat at the same bar. They drank Dom Perignon at $500 a bottle and paid with duffel bags full of cash. That still smelled like the dirt it had been buried in. And the king of the mutiny? That was a young, handsome Cuban-American exile. He wore gold chains, drove a Mercedes-Benz with bulletproof windows, and was always surrounded by bodyguards. His name was Mario Tabrau. Mario was the mastermind behind an organization the federal government simply called the Enterprise. While Tony Montana starts as a dishwasher in the movie, Mario was an architect of crime. By the time he was 24, he was moving millions. He didn't have a street gang. He had a multinational corporation. But there is one specific detail that proves Tony Montana was based on Mario something so bizarre. No screenwriter could have invented it. The tigers. In the movie, Tony buys a tiger to flaunt his wealth. It seems like a ridiculous Hollywood cliché. But Mario Tabrau actually did this. He ran a business called Zoological Imp.
You'd be surprised how the movies you watch, how you looking at it as a movie, but how even if it's not based on a true story of how of a true story that it is, somewhere they get it from somewhere.
Ports. It was the perfect front. While customs agents were searching his trucks for drugs, they found cobras, leopards, monkeys, and tigers. Mario literally walked through his garden with predators on a leash. It was pure intimidation. Who is going to testify against a man who can feed you to his pets? But intimidation wasn't his only weapon. His greatest power was corruption. And this is where reality is far scarier than the movie. In Scarface,
There goes Scarface tripping. Do what the fuck I did. I said, you motherfucker. He dipped his whole thing. He was on one, bro.
we see corrupt cops taking bribes. In Mario Tabrau's world, the cops weren't just corrupt. They worked for him. It has been confirmed in court records. Uniformed police officers, cops on duty, were actually helping Mario unload the drugs. Imagine this.
Wow.
You call the police because you see something suspicious, and the officer who shows up is the one loading the cocaine into his squad car. Mario Tabrau was, in every sense of the word, untouchable.
Right.
But like every emperor, Mario became paranoid, and paranoia leads to blood.
Is the part about Scarface doing his own supply and being paranoid and tripping out? Did y'all get that off? You know, by looking at my eyes, you know.
This brings us to the moment the businessman turned into a monster dot in July 1980. A man named Larry Nash made the biggest mistake of his life. Larry was an informant for the ATF. He planned to infiltrate the Enterprise and betray Mario. But Mario's intelligence network was better than the government's. He knew Larry was a rat. What happened next formed the basis for the most notorious scene in film history.
Oh, bro. When they was sitting outside, oh.
Larry Nash was driven to a secluded house.
If y'all haven't watched the movie Scarface, especially for you youngest out there, go watch it. You won't regret it. Watch some movies are timeless. That's one of the movies to go watch.
Thought he was going to cut a deal. Instead, he was met by the top executives of the Enterprise. Mario Tabrau was there. They shot him, but they didn't let him die. The order was simple. Nothing of him was to remain. No body, no evidence. In the movie, we see Hector the Toad waving a chainsaw around. In real life, it was even clumsier and more brutal. Witnesses later testified that they first tried to destroy the body with axes and machetes. But the human body is tough. It was taking too long. Someone suggested getting a chainsaw. While Mario watched and perhaps even gave instructions, the informant was sawed into pieces. The body parts were burned in an oven to destroy all DNA. When Tony Montana saw that scene in the movie, he was disgusted. He thought it was dishonorable. But the real Tony, Mario, to him, it was just a Tuesday. It was business.
Wow.
In 1987, the curtain fell. The government launched Operation Coke.
Back in them days, it wasn't no joke with crime. Cutting you up wasn't nothing. The mob was doing it. He was doing this all in the 80s. The 80s was no motherfucking joke. It was a number of cocaine and murder.
The goal was simple. Cut off the head of the snake. The raid on Mario's villa was massive. Helicopters, SWAT teams, federal agents. When they busted him, they found a paper trail, proof of a criminal empire that spanned the globe. The trial that followed was a media circus. Prosecutors called him the most powerful drug lord to ever stand on American soil. But even in prison, Mario wasn't defeated. And this is where the story completely diverges from the movie. Tony Montana dies in a hail of bullets. He fights to the bitter end. Mario chose a different path. He tried to buy the system. While he was locked up, he tried to arrange a helicopter escape. The plan was insane. Mercenaries were to attack the prison, storm the exercise yard, and pick Mario up in a chopper to fly him to Cuba or South America. The plan leaked. The escape failed, and then came the hammer. The judge sentenced Mario Tabrau to 100 years in prison.
This nigga was doing. He was pulling the what was that the guy from Mexico just got locked up. Big drug dealer. I can't remember his name. He escaped a couple times, had tunnels, and got out and escaped. But then when we got back to him, America, and he been locked up ever since. El Chapo. He was El Chapo before El Chapo.
Game over. End of story. Or so you would think. 100 years means you die in your cell. But Mario Tabrau is a survivor. He did what Tony Montana would never do. He talked. He gave the government information. So much information that his sentence was drastically reduced. After only 12 years, the man who had people sawed into pieces was walking free on the streets again. And this is the biggest plot twist of all. If you thought Mario would hide in a basement, you are wrong. Do you remember that crazy Netflix documentary during the pandemic, Tiger King? Look closely at the first episode. He is there. Today, Mario Tabrau runs the Zoological Wildlife Foundation in Miami. He is a local celebrity. He gives interviews to YouTubers. He posts.
Did y'all know this? That's crazy.
Poses with tigers for Instagram models. He is living in the paradise he built with blood money. Tony Montana lost everything. His sister, his wife, his life. But the real Scarface? He won. The story of Mario Tabrau teaches us something uncomfortable about our fascination with gangsters. We love Scarface because it is a tragedy. We see him rise and we see him fall. It feels like justice. But in the real world, the bad guys don't always fall. Sometimes they just change careers. So the next time you see that poster of Al Pacino, remember who is really hiding behind that scar. A man who proved that if you have enough money and power, you can get away with murder.
Wow, guys. Did y'all know this? I'm glad I watched that video, man. That's crazy. And I learned something. Everybody, with this, if y'all up to date with the going on in hip-hop right now, with the thing about when they say F the streets, you got people on each side of the fence like, oh no, it ain't no F the streets, and other people say F the streets. I'm going to just say this. I know how I feel. Ain't nothing ever been good in the streets. The streets only good when you're involved in a certain lifestyle that you benefit from the streets. That doesn't mean it's good. Usually it ends if you don't change and legit the money, legit your ways, you either end up where? Dead in jail. So how could they ever been good? But if you rapping, right? You so-called, you rapping about the streets and you say F the streets, there's a confliction. It's a problem. You might need to adjust. This is at 21 Savage, how you say things, especially if you're making money actively off that. I used to rap about the street. It was so easy to rap about it and do what I was doing when I was in that lifestyle, in that mode. When I learned my lessons, when I learned stuff, it's harder for me to rap the same way about rap. When I make music, that's why I make music less, because I have a broader scale on what life is and what all those actions, from my lust, from everything to things, so it's harder. It hit different. But yeah, my point is, and I'm gonna wrap it up. All the real ones. There's only two things happen to the real ones. The ones that really do put in work. The real ones. You either dead, in jail. Three things. You either dead, in jail, or you snitched. That's it. Point blank. You dead for the real. You dead, in jail, or you snitched. That's the only outcomes for real one. So many hitmen, so many murders got real hats on their back. None like you rappers. None like you just saying, oh, I'm this. These motherfuckers documented killers that's free today, walking around. That's just for whatever reason. This is the point I'm trying to say is there's no end to it. If you're going to be a survivor living in that life and to tell about it, you told. That's from Terrence Gangster Williams, Baby's half brother, which was a hitter. To the nigga Rico, the one from Paid in Full, to Yo Gotti's Sam the Bull, to all the other ones who got out, who got real hats. So with that said, man, there's no positive end to the streets. It did. Um, it's been fun. If you're watching, I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned in for more reactions from the Sexually Essex, aka Smurf Dirty, Gypsy Gang. God bless y'all. With that, I'm signing out. Sir.